Hello, everybody. So, today's case, we're talking about one that is quite disturbing when I tell you the details. I just had such a weird feeling while I was reading it. And I actually heard about this case through the podcast Murder with My Husband. And we're going to be talking about the case of Annie Lee. And yeah, you know what? I'm just going to tell you about it because it was so gross and disturbing and incredibly sad. But all the links that I used for research will be down below, like always, and let's jump in. So, everyone said that Annie was exceptional, and she had a smile that could light up a room, and she was an academic star. She was 24 at the time and was on her way to earning a doctorate at Yale. So, incredibly smart. What an accomplishment! Wow. She was born in San Jose, California in 1985 and grew up in a large, tight-knit Vietnamese American family. She was valedictorian for her graduating class and was voted most likely to be the next Einstein by her class. She received $160,000 in scholarships and got her undergraduate degree in cell developmental biology from the University of Rochester in New York. While there, she met and fell in love with Jonathan Wadowski, and they were to be married on September 13th, 2009. At Yale, she studied pharmacology and monitored the effects of different medicine on mice. On September 8th, 2009, security footage was captured of her entering the lab building at 10 a.m., but she would not leave the building alive. When she didn't return home that night, one of her roommates reported her missing. Her pocketbook and cell phone were found at the lab. Initially, police weren't sure if this was a homicide or if she just got cold feet about her wedding and ran away. But the lab building would require visitors to scan ID cards when entering and exiting, and she was never seen leaving. There was also bloody clothing found in the ceiling of 10 Amistad Street, which is where the labs were located, on September 12th, and the building was declared a crime scene. So already right away, you don't just have bloody clothing in a ceiling for no reason. So it's already starting to feel like something happened to this girl, probably not good in this building, and her body's probably somewhere in this building still. Or if she was taken out, her body was not seen taken out. So you can kind of already know where we're going with this. On September 13th, which was the day of her wedding, her deceased body was tragically finally found. Police noticed a smell, quote, similar to that of a decomposing body, and they would bring in cadaver dogs. At 5 p.m., her body was found stuffed upside down in a wall. And this is a quote from an unidentified police source. And they say, the killer just crushed her in there. She was like mush. She was so smashed up you couldn't recognize her, end quote. Just think about how traumatizing that is, not only to be her, to have had just be attacked, and you are stuffed inside of a wall so badly. When you were found, the people who find you, they describe you as being like mush. Like, that is so disturbing to just think about what happened to her exactly, and to just be like that kind of evil to do that to her. I can't imagine. According to her autopsy, Annie died from, quote, traumatic asphyxiation by neck compression. And it was later revealed she had a broken jaw and a broken collarbone, which happened while she was alive. Her bra had been pushed up, panties pulled down to her ankles, and detectives found semen on her panty liner and other areas of her body. And this is suggesting that she'd been sexually assaulted. And that is so disturbing to think that she was just assaulted like that before having her life taken and just shoved inside of a wall like she's trash. I can't even. It's so. You see, it's already giving you a weird vibe. Who does that? Who just does this to somebody and just stuffs them in a wall? Ugh. Even before her body had been found, Police were looking at Ray Clark, a lab tech who worked at the lab she used in a custodial function. So Ray worked at Yale, but he did not attend school there, and he was known to be hard on students, especially students that like just weren't very clean, like they didn't clean up after themselves. Um, and an unnamed source said that Ray had emailed Annie to complain that she'd left dirty mice cages behind after she was using the labs one day. So she kind of fell into the category of she didn't clean up after herself, and he decided to email her and complain, which, first of all, bitch move. Dude, like, you need to chill the fuck out. It's just clean up. I don't know what to tell you. And when you see photos of this guy, because I am going to have him on the screen, he looks like such a bitch. Like, he looks like he's about to cry, and it's like, why are you crying? Because you got caught? Like, ugh. An arrest warrant was issued for Ray, and on September 17th, 2009, so just days, not even a whole week after her body was found, police were stationed outside a hotel where he'd been staying, and they were keeping watch. At 8:36 a.m., he was taken from the hotel, and his bond was set at $13 million. Authorities collected DNA from Ray's hair, fingernails, and saliva to compare to more than 250 pieces of evidence collected from the crime scene. Ray would plead guilty to murder in exchange for a 44-year prison sentence. He also entered an Alfred plea on one count of attempt to commit sexual assault. And an Alfred plea means that he doesn't admit to the charge, but concedes that there is enough evidence for conviction. So he's not, like, I'm guilty. He's not going to admit to that. But he is saying, like, okay, I can see your side. I can see where it looks like I could have done this. And that's basically what an Alfred plea is. So to me, it kind of feels like self-preservation. You're saying, I'm not guilty, but, like, I kind of am guilty because I get it. Like, I see it. That's what it kind of feels like to me. So Ray was 26 at the time he was sentenced, and he won't be released until 2053 when he will be almost 70 years old. And honestly, I think he should spend much longer than that because Annie will never live to be 70. She was sadly taken when she was only 24, younger than I am right now, and she's never going to make it to 70. She didn't get to get married. She didn't get to live her life. And 70, a lot of people, um, they do live to be past 70. So once he gets out, yeah, most of his life will be over. But like, he's still gonna have a chance to live his life, and she'll never get that chance. So personally, knowing the specifics of the case, knowing what he did to her body, him assaulting her, I think he should spend much longer than just 44 years in prison. At the hearing, he apologized to her family, um, but honestly, I don't know how you could forgive something like that. And honestly, I don't know if they did forgive him. Personally, I wouldn't be able to. Like, that is something so heinous. Um, Apologies just don't cut it. Like, I get, like, you're supposed to feel guilty and try to show remorse or whatever. I don't think he actually felt that, though. I think he was just feeling sorry because he got caught. Even though he pled guilty, we still don't know why it happened or how. And if this happened because she was one of the students that was just leaving stuff behind, and he just snapped one day, there's something seriously wrong with you if you can just snap at something like that, something like a dirty cage. If that causes you to lose yourself enough that you can kill someone, I'm sorry, you need serious help. You sound like a very dangerous person. You should not be able to just snap that easily to the point where you're going to commit murder. And I know he was not convicted of sexual assault, but the fact that there's evidence that she was sexually assaulted, I kind of feels like maybe he might have had a thing for her, and maybe he had tried to make moves on her before. I'm not saying like this is what he did. This is alleged. My opinion. This is what I think could have happened. He could have like made moves on her, maybe showed interest, and she's like, no, 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 like I have somebody, I'm not interested in you. And that hurt his little bitch boy ego. And then on top of that, her leaving stuff behind. He could have caused them to just lose it. That's kind of what I think it was. But just knowing that he just did this to her and then just stuffed her in a wall, like, I just, it's disturbing on so many different levels. But that is the case of Annie Lee. Let me know your thoughts and stuff down below. Do you think you should have gotten longer than 44 years? What do you think was the motive behind her murder? Please leave your thoughts down below, but please be kind. You never know if family members are going to see this video or not, so just be kind. But with that being said, thank you so much for listening to Annie's story, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Bye, guys.